Hi, how are you today? I'm going to be starting a series of art pieces that will be for Valentine's Day. The first one I'm doing is this love resin mold. The first color that I'll be using is Ranger ink, alcohol ink in the color Stream. So this is going to be going on the bottom of the mold, which will turn out to be the front of the sign. So Stream is like a green teal color, and it's quite transparent. So into the ink, I'm also going to be adding some glitter. The glitter that I'm using is a mixture of different teals that came in a package that I bought from the dollar store. So it's a medium fine glitter. I'm going to put a couple of spoonfuls into the glitter, or pardon me, into the resin. The resin that I'm using for this casting is Liquid Diamonds. Liquid Diamonds is a low viscosity resin, so it's quite runny. It's near to water. I prefer using casting resin in these deeper molds because it is less likely to hold on to bubbles, and it's recommended to use a casting resin with molds that are deeper. And I believe this mold is, I'd have to measure it, but it's at least an inch. I would say it's at least an inch deep. That being said, I am going to do 2 separate pours on this one. So I've only filled it about halfway full with the ink and the glitter. I do go over it with 91% isopropyl alcohol in a spritz bottle just to help get rid of some of those bubbles. And then I run my stick around the edge of the mold and down to the bottom, basically just to kind of try to get any bubbles out. Normally I don't use a heat gun with casting resin, especially if I'm, filling something to the top, because it is so runny if you're not careful with the heat gun, because the heat gun blows air as well. You can end up, spraying your resin everywhere, and you don't want to do that. But because this is only half full, I go over it with my heat gun just to try to get rid of some bubbles. And I'm quite high up. I'm not very close to the resin. I don't get as close to it as I would, say, if I was doing like a set of coasters or something like that. Now I'm going to go in for my second layer. I'll be using Just Paint Mica Pigments in the color Navajo. This is also like a green teal color. Nice and shimmery. So what I'm hoping is that the front is going to have a transparent, glittery look, and the back will have a nice shimmer look. So that if you're setting the sign on a table or something, it has a nice front and a nice back. And it's not just the front that looks nice and then the back looks yucky. I believe this mold actually came with an LED light or something as well, but I don't want to do that this time around. I'll look at it for maybe a future project. So just, being a typical klutz and trying to get the resin into the mold without making a huge mess. So I do go over it with the heat gun. It's not quite full at this point. I'm up really high though, so that I'm not blowing that resin around. And then I'll go back in and top it up with the rest of the resin. So I do kind of go along and, you know, squish the mold a little bit, see if there's going to be any bubbles that are along the sides of the mold, and see if they'll come up. I don't know if that's very effective or not, but I see other resin artists do it, so I figure I should do it too. I don't have an exact measurement for how much resin this mold takes. Normally I measure that out beforehand, but I completely forgot. I've had this mold sitting around for a little while and I really just wanted to use it, and I didn't think about how much resin I would need for it. But I will measure the quantity of resin you need and let you know for sure. I want to say it took about 4 ounces, but I'll measure. Normally I just take some measuring cups and like a 1/2 ounce measuring cup, fill it up with water, dump it into the mold, and then usually I can guess whether I'm going to need another 4 ounces or just another 2 ounces. Most of the molds I have take anywhere from 4 to 8 ounces, except of course for the bigger trays, which, you know, get into bigger amounts, obviously. So here I am in the sink with a little bit of soap and water. Just kind of pulling the mold away from the resin to let the soap and water get in between there, and I'm able to pull off the mold really easily. I do make it look harder than it is when I pull the mold off, only because I'm very careful with my mold. There's the front and the back. I hope you liked this video. Thanks for hanging out. Have a good day. Bye.